When we come back, we're talking about stuff that gives me the Jimmy legs, Betsy. You know what the Jimmy legs are?
Yes, I do.
Your legs keep twitching because you can't handle the thought of whatever you're thinking. Well, anyway, one of those things is mice in the house.
Yes.
It's fall, and they're looking for a place to stay this winter. Let's make sure they don't choose your home or mine.
Yes.
That's next. Stay tuned.
If you want to take your DIY skills up a rung, the Repco Light Home Improvement Show is here to give you a boost on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Well, Betsy, we're sitting here with David Popp, the district manager at Rose Pest Solutions, and we always bring David here when we have a pest problem to discuss.
Yes, we do.
David, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Now, a couple of years ago, I told this, there's no real story here. There is a story, but it's too dark to go into. But a couple of years ago, it was dark, Betsy. Don't good grief me. A couple of years ago, in our house, we had mice get into the attic. I'd never had anything like that before, and I felt completely invaded. I felt like they completely grossified my house. I couldn't even live there anymore. I just envisioned an army of millions of mice running around the upstairs. I was stunned because I thought everything was pretty sealed up. You know, I kind of had paid attention looking for that. So I guess just to help anybody out there and to save them from the drama that my family went through.
Because it is that time of year.
It is that time of year, and the mice are looking for places. How tightly sealed do we have to have our homes to keep them out?
Well, mice, they can fit in about a 1/4-inch hole. So anything really that you can put like a pencil through, mice are going to be able to fit. Oh, yeah.
How do they get their little heads through that?
They squeeze. So it's they can actually fit it through there. Their skulls.
A pencil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, that's terrifying.
The best thing you can do is, like for instance, just to go down into your basement, shut off all the lights.
Okay.
See if you can see any light coming through around window areas, around where plumbing comes in, wires, things like that. If you can see light, then that's probably enough room for them to get in.
So what happened with my house when I dug into it? I found way up in the garage, in the rafter area, they had tunneled through insulation into the attic. They had climbed a wall that I thought was smooth, and it was a laminated material. I honestly don't know how they did it. They have little suction cups on their feet.
They can scale. They can scale the walls. I remember way back when, 30-plus years ago, when I was a technician going around in treating the outside of somebody's house, going around the corner, you know how you just all of a sudden, right there's something, and it was a mouse. It made me jump. Now, here's a pest.
Did you scream?
No, I did. Well, I didn't scream, but I did jump.
I would have screamed and jumped.
You would have.
But they
so
can't
you see him sitting there. He was climbing a wall or something?
He was climbing up. Yeah, this happened to be brick, a little more traction. But they will do that. They'll scale and find an area that they can get into. So you mentioned the garage. A garage is an area where a lot of times we have our garage doors open, either a service door or the
my
main
kids
door.
leave the garage door open all the time. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, that's they can enter in. That's an easy way for them to enter in. And then once they get into the garage, they can find those areas for access to the the living quarters, basement or the main areas. So garages are very, very important to seal up.
So what do I do? So I can try to train the children to close the garage door. That's monumental. I'm not expecting you to help me with that. Do you have anything that will help me train my children? Nothing that you offer.
No, nothing that we offer. So.
Maybe some good advice later. But let's say we get that. I know that I've got areas where if I would sit in the garage with the lights off, I'm going to see pencil thick, areas around the garage door. How do I seal?
Well, the door itself, you can get the weather stripping still on the garage door. And a lot of times where you'll have your issue is it might be that the concrete might be not be level.
Sure.
So when the door comes down onto it, you may be able to see an area where they can get through. You may have to extend that weather stripping down there, but anything you can do to do it. Around the corners are big areas for the mice to enter in there too. So
Okay, what about you were talking about in the basement, if you see daylight coming through, if you see a crack or a small hole or something where there is daylight, what do you fill that with? Because I've heard that they will chew through certain things but not other things, so what do you recommend filling those gaps with?
the best thing you can do for rodents is a copper mesh. Don't use steel wool, because when steel wool gets wet, it rusts. And then all of a sudden it would go on your wall, wherever it may be, the siding. But copper mesh is the best. They don't like to mess around with that. And then, then tucking in. Caulk is still, one of our best friends when it comes to sealing, to make sure that they don't get through.
So they don't chew through that. They'll leave that alone.
If there may be separation where they see, they're an area that they can continue to make the hole larger, then they'll do something like that. But copper mesh is the best still.
Now, will you come out and help us seal the home?
Yep.
That's something that you guys will do.
Yep, we will do that. If it's a major undertaking, as far as where you really need to have a carpenter or builder involved, we won't do that. But simple exclusion work, like putting copper mesh and things like that, and caulk, we can do
You're
that.
referencing my garage. Yeah, that's for me to take care of. But for the little stuff, you'll take care of that.
So along with mice, I know that, like shrews, voles, do they also come into people's houses?
They're going to pretty much stay outside.
They're going to stay outside.
They will.
The main ones that you really need to be concerned about is the house mouse and the deer mouse. The deer mouse is the one that is of concern because of hantavirus. Their droppings and their urine can carry hantavirus. Now, there's only been one case that I'm aware of. I think it's as of 2017 of hantavirus in Michigan. But if you look at the map, out west is where really is a large problem with it, but moving in. So you never know. Deer mice, you want to be careful with that.
How do you know what kind of mouse you have?
Well,
the deer mice have antlers,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and it helps Santa. But no, a deer mouse is there. And against versus a house mouse is color, number one. The house mouse is more gray uniformed all the way around, but a deer mouse would be gray with potentially reddish, but underneath is white. The other way you can tell is their tail. A house mouse has for lack of a better word, a partially naked tail, whereas on a deer mouse it's all fur on through there. So deer mice too. They're gonna be somewhat like, for instance, in garages, sheds. They're not going to be as common in the house, but they do come in, but more or less on outbuildings.
All right, David. So in the last little bit, let's say I don't get to it in time. I don't seal up the whole house, and I end up noticing partway through winter little droppings, things I don't want to see on the counter or in drawers or something. Now I got a problem. What's the best way to get rid of them?
Well, before you start thinking about getting rid of them, one thing to understand is if you see mouse droppings in a drawer, and in the silverware drawer next to it, you don't see any droppings.
Right.
Don't discount it because of their urine. They're going to put a number of urine deposits all the way around in the areas that they go to. Wash your silverware if you got them around close by that.
So they make the route? They go all over the place?
Yes, they do.
And I'm not even seeing it? Could I see it with a black light?
You can see it with the black light.
Oh, I am never
investing in a
Yeah.
black light.
Okay, so first, wash everything. Wash my silverware.
Oh, yeah. In the containers and where you got the silverware in there. And
That is so foul.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And the entire counter and...
So, okay, we get it clean. What's the best method to get them out for good?
The best way still to this day is a snap trap. The snap traps work wonders. And baiting them with peanut butter. You can even bait them with cloth because of helping them, they'll look for things like that for nesting material.
Oh, okay.
But peanut butter is still one of the best ones. But I'd be concerned if somebody has a peanut allergy. You can use, there are peanut substitutes that you can use.
The mice don't care?
No, the mice don't care. But the best thing when you have that spring trap is you bait it underneath the pad. So they really have to work at it. And it gets them. It's still the best trap that there is.
Yeah, because my dad has baited them before, and they lick the stuff off, and the trap never
We'll
snaps.
put it underneath.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's a way better idea.
It makes them work.
All right, David, if our listeners have any questions for you, or maybe they want you to come out and take care of a rodent problem that they might have.
Stop a problem from occurring.
Right, that too. How do they best get in contact with you?
Well, they can call our office at 616-534-5493, or they can go to our website. It's rosepestsolutions.com.
Perfect. David Popp, thank you so much for being here to talk about these nasty little creatures with us.
You bet.